What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Our Way Out. We hope you liked our first episode. Um,
We got tons of feedback.
yeah, great
Yeah,
feedback.
great feedback. I loved it.
We appreciate everyone that checked it out and gave us positive feedback. We're always welcome to constructive criticism because we're just trying to get better. And again, this is something we're just put together out of nowhere, and this is our first time doing it. So thank you everyone for watching. And today I'm here with Tristan. What's going on? What's up? What's up? Jeremy
Hello, everyone.
and Sam.
Yo.
And I'm David. And today we're gonna be discussing brotherhood. Because we all, we're all brothers here, and we feel really comfortable with each other. I think you could tell by the chemistry.
Yeah.
And we're gonna start off with what inspired us to do the podcast Our Way Out and to get together and have these conversations.
I think I just want to start it off by saying we all noticed we were all in such like a brotherhood. We just noticed it in itself. And we seen our bosses, they had their own brotherhood, and we noticed we had that inside of our own circle. We kind of seen that, and we were like, that's kind of our own thing. And imagine if we started talking about it a little bit more, I don't know if you guys noticed that about ourselves, Ray, Jersey, and all them. They kind of have their own brotherhood, and it's 20 years later, and they're putting on the next generation. And I think that that's kind of where we're on the next path to try to inspire the next people before we even get to the next 20 years. So, I mean, if we're doing it in the present moment, that would be awesome too, to be able to point out, hey, we're in this moment of brotherhood and companionship, and we're all looking to inspire.
Yeah, I think another thing too is just like how we all connect in our own ways, from ourselves, and how we relate to each other, and the want to give back to inspire people and maybe prevent them from going through the things we went through, and be able to help them to better their lives before they get to it, and just inspire and be motivating to people.
Yeah, I agree with everything. There's a lot of like-minded people that have gone through some things, and coming together for a bigger purpose. To be able to inspire and enlighten people. I've seen that in all you guys. So it just feels right. I feel comfortable with you guys. I'm able to open up. And I'm just grateful to be in this space with you guys. And
yeah, because many times we hung out back here in the backyard, and we had these like heart-to-heart conversations where we're like, man, we should be recording all this because someone could learn from it. Someone could get inspired by it, because we all have unique stories. We all have different backgrounds, but yeah, life has brought us together, and we're all in a way fighting the same fight. We all have similar struggles. So that I feel like we got inspiration from that.
No, you hit it right on the head. I believe the highest form of giving is to inspire somebody to get up and go do something, or to help their community, or no matter what kind of giving it is. So, I mean, that's just on our road. We're guys that are just on a path to help.
Amen to that. A lot of people believed in us and believed in me, inspired us. And having great mentors, people that believe in you, has really helped. And I just want to do the same. I've learned from the best. Before I was in a position where I didn't have the right people around me, because certain situations. But now I'm surrounded by nothing but great people, good people that want to see the best in you, and I want to be able to share that energy too with other people. So, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I want to talk about how we all met, because we've all like we didn't grow up together, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's through our past and through mutual friends that we all crossed each other's paths. And for me, I feel like Scott Budnick, or
Big factor.
yeah,
We got there. Yeah.
Big factor of our lives.
he's all our mentor. He's has influenced our lives.
Yeah.
And I feel like I met Sam, I met Jeremy through him.
Through Scott,
Right.
yeah.
Because I remember we was like, hey, man, I want you to meet my boy, and it was Sam. I was like, yeah, man. And he's like, yeah, he's just talking about, he's doing Hollywood CPR, which Hollywood CPR is this program in West Los Angeles Community College that allows people to come and learn about different crafts of production, and then it's a pathway to a union. And I was like, yeah, I'm more than happy to meet Sam. And then I met Sam, and
super happy to meet this guy. Scott had introduced him as a guy who had got out of prison, was now working on a Marvel film set, had traveled the world, went to Australia, been working on set deck, and that was like my dreams and aspirations. So to see somebody actually doing it and coming and visiting his people and actually, reaching his hand out, hey, nice to meet you. It was awesome, brother. It was cool to meet you for the first time. That was a blessing.
It was a blessing for sure. Cause you were working towards getting to Local 44, right?
Yeah.
Set dressing.
Same thing how I met these guys. I met Tristan, I met Jeremy. We were all working towards our film industry journey.
The only reason I met any of you guys is because of Scott. Like, I would have never came out and tried to pursue film, pursue getting into the union without Scott. And he opened the door and gave me the opportunity to move out here, introduced me to the program. He put me in Magnolia Housing, got me linked with them. So I met Sammy, met you at school, or even at the ARC office. I think I met you. And I would have never been working on Let's Make a Deal or out here and met you, David, if it wasn't for me wanting to do that and Scott giving me that opportunity, and when we met and I heard that you were linked with ARC, we had our conversation, both know Scott Budnick, and that's like what I feel like automatically I could trust you because we come from the same background. We come from like similar things in life, and that's what drew us close,
Before Jeremy gives his introduction, I think that it would be great that we give a topic on who Scott Budnick is. It's, one film producer, justice reform,
Founder of ARC.
founder of anti-recidivism collision, one community. Man,
And so on and
so much to
many
say.
things,
Google
yeah.
him if you need to find out. But he's somebody done a ton of work in his community, done freed thousands of people, changed thousands of lives, countless people, and we're just some of the few that are able to share it with you on a platform. And I just thought that it's great to give just so you guys can put a face to a name.
Yeah.
Google him if you guys would like to know more about him.
And to add on to that, I wouldn't be in this position either if it was for Scott. I met David. David was constantly someone that's always going into Barry J. Nordoff compound in Sylmar Juvenile Hall, and I met him there because he was mentoring, and at the time I was working for ARC, and I was going inside institutions mentoring kids, and I ran into you, and we connected right away. We started talking about being able to go back into a place that we once were at. So I remember that day I started opening up to you, and I told you like my goals and what I foresee myself doing, and I told you that I was going to Hollywood CPR and I wanted to be a local 44, and then you asked me what experiences that I have and whatnot, and I started telling you like the things that I already had done, like working as a PA, driving trucks and stuff like that. And then you were like, "Oh, we're looking for a driver over there. I'm gonna pass on your name to Jersey." And I remember texting Jersey because you told me to text him and he didn't get back at me.
Yeah.
And I was like heartbroken. And you followed up with me like the next week or something and told me, "Did you get at him?" And I was like, "I did." He was like, "Do it again." And then I did it. And Jersey was like, "You available in the next day or two?" And and I was just, and you taught me something that day. You were telling me like sometimes you just gotta keep, you gotta be on it. You taught me a way to go about it, and I reached back, and Jersey gave me that opportunity. But it was the time in my life where I was just focused on giving back a lot and going to Hollywood CPR and just being in the position that I was at the time was like. You shine this light, and you gave me so much belief, and you entrusted me and, you know, spoke up for me. So I always like carry that, you know, to always, you know, carry myself right around others and always be a hard worker and always imply all the things that I was taught at Hollywood CPR with Kevin Constantine there, the director of the show. He's you know, he's the one, the foundation of how I built my set etiquette, my work ethic. So shout out to him too.
That reminds me of a story from Shawshank Redemption. Every single day he wrote a letter to the state to see if he could get more funding to start a library inside of the prison. And they finally wrote him a letter back after being persistent for so long and told him, "Here's your funding. Please stop sending us letters." And he got it. And then the sheriff had told him, "Man, you're crazy." And he said, "Haha, I'm gonna write 2 letters a day now for X amount of time." So it's like they're really gonna love me now. But if you just stay persistent, you'll end up getting what you want.
No,
You know?
yeah.
So I think that's just a good story
Yeah.
that you can take with you for everybody.
Yeah, and not only that, like I think at times you think you're a bother. Well, for me, I was always like in my head about that. Like I was so mindful about other people that I wasn't really like putting myself first. So when you were like, you gotta stay consistent, you gotta, you know, follow up and stuff. And when you like talk, like you sparked that, and I was like, you're right, I gotta stay on it, you know. And yeah, and you know, opportunity came from it, you know, and you empowered that. So you know, I'm just so grateful for you.
Yeah, I
You know?
appreciate that, man. And I remember that day, you know, like if it was yesterday. And just like someone helped me, you know, I'm just glad that I was in a position to be able to put someone's name in the hat, you know, because I remember when Jersey was like, hey, is there any students available that need hours? And I was like, yeah, man, I know, you know, a lot of them, you know, Sam being one.
Man, I was working for months, Ubering places, paying money out of my own pocket just so I could get on film sets. And you don't understand the things you go through just so you can work and be able to get your foot in the door in the film industry over here in Los Angeles. But when
Doing it for free too.
for doing it for free, just so you can get your face out there,
hours.
get hours, and
So
you're working 12-hour film sets, setting up tents in the rain, doing things that are underappreciated, but you know that in the end somebody will notice you. And I remember I was sitting in my bedroom, long day, and I finally get a phone call from David Campos saying, "Hey, do you want to work on The Price is Right?" And I remember getting a flashback of me and my grandma sitting there sipping coffee in the morning, and we would watch Bob Barker spin the wheel in the morning. And I was just like, yeah, like, man, I can't believe that this is real. He was like, cool, man, send me your information. I ended up getting a phone call later on from this lady named Karen. I was working out and I was like, this is really real. Like, this is going to change my whole life. And just from that moment on, man, I was so appreciative of you, and just the preparation meets opportunity, like we were talking about earlier, and just knowing that even though it might not pay off for what you're doing now, it's going to, at some point in times, your efforts will be noticed and somebody will help you along the way. And I'm just grateful.
Can you describe what getting hours means to the public, because they may not know?
Yes, so Hollywood CPR, it's intervened with West Los Angeles College in Culver City, and they help you learn the ins and outs of the film industry, starting from the basics of Film 101, which teaches you every single job inside of the film industry, from set lighting to grip to set decorating to painting to whatever you want to do. And it lets you from that point on pick whatever craft you decide is best. And for me, that was art department. And then you take a set amount of classes, which needs the equal amount to 27 units. So you need to take safety classes, production classes, all types of things to learn how to actually do this craft on paper and on behind the computer. And then you move on to the steps of going in, taking set deck classes in person, where you actually learn in person how to do your craft from a union professional that actually worked inside throughout the 80s and the 90s, working on all types of films. Our union teacher was wonderful, and he taught me. He was a little bit rough at times, but he taught me how to maneuver on a set, because that's how it was back then, and you got to give it to people real. But getting your hours after you finish that whole process of going through college for 2 years, almost 2 years, you still have to put together a portfolio of 700 hours, which is and it has to be working on active film sets, getting a call sheet. A call sheet is, they email it to you in the morning, and it lets you know where the film is going to be at, where you have to park, where you have to go, where you're going to meet at, where your lead man is going to be at, all the departments, your number, your call time, and everything. And you have to where was I going with this?
You know, you
Oh
got
yeah. You have to put this all into the portfolio, and you have to label it all with the. I mean,
Yeah, you also have to get 5 evaluations, so it's not like you could just fake the hours.
You
You have to
can't-
get people to actually say that you were there and you were a good worker, you were on time, worked
12
hard.
hours.
12 hours. Starting off, most of it was free for me. I'm sure you too. Student films, 12 hours.
American Film Institute.
Exactly.
USC.
AFI, USC, all that. And it's good though to start from the bottom because it teaches you that grind and finding work and keep working so that now that when I got my first paid opportunity, which was on Let's Make a Deal, you know, I was like, oh, wow. And that wasn't
Wow.
even union pay, you know, that's just like a PA pay, you know? So now starting from the bottom and slowly building, it makes you grind and makes you appreciate more where you're at now. Like now I'm in the union. I work Price is Right full time. Local 44.
It was discouraging on those routes. You would meet
It
union
sucked.
people, and they would say, "Hey, it took me 10 years to get in. It
Yeah.
took me 9 years to get in. It took me 8 years." And you're sitting there on your first year, and you're saying, "Okay, I got a lot of work
You
to
go,
do." But the thing is, though, that's the good thing about it is at some point it will all pay off.
Yeah.
Because you're like, nobody has ever said, "I tried my hardest and I didn't get in." You meet tons of people that say, "I'm a union member and I work just like you and I got in." Everybody has this specific moment that they remember that, hey, this lead man noticed me. I was working on a grip, whether it's a grip they made a dolly grip or did something crazy to where somebody noticed them. And I knew that that's the preparation meets opportunity. They worked consistently until it finally paid off. And man, that moment was beautiful for some.
yeah.
You gotta
Most
appreciate
definitely.
the baby steps.
Yes,
'Cause I think,
yes.
you know, the baby steps is what makes you a great leader. And, you know, because once you reach that spot where you want to be, you could put yourself in the shoes of someone that is coming up.
Yeah.
You know, you're able to understand the grind, the struggle, and you're able to inspire too. Because like you said, it could be discouraging when you're like, man, when you hear like, oh, it took me 10 years to get in the union, and you're like on your first, and you're like, wow, like how long is it gonna take me, you know? And then you still got to take care of yourself. You still gotta pay bills. You still gotta feed yourself.
Take care of your family if you got kids,
Yeah.
you know, with everything, you know. You
Not many people can work 12-hour days for free.
No.
And then they're the age 25, 23, 21, and they have dreams and aspiration of becoming a union set decorator, union person. But the thing is, are you willing to sacrifice 2 years of your life for a lifetime? So it's like, it's kind of wild when you think of it like that. But a lot of us, I'm sure, we didn't come into this world growing up thinking we were going to be in this film industry.
Not at all.
And I think that's clear that we need to
I
bring some.
thought it was something that was impossible to do.
I thought that this was something that I was like, oh man, like that's if somebody would have told me this 5 years ago, I would have just been like laughed at them and said like, dude, you're telling me.
This never crossed my mind until like my last year of me being incarcerated, and I met Scott and he introduced his whole film program, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to give that a try.
What was the moment that, or how did you give us a brief background on how you entered the film industry, or when was that moment of you being incarcerated to what led that moment of you leading into film?
For me, it was when I was in fire camp, like my last year there. Scott came and I finally met him, and he introduced 3 different jobs. It was firefighting, film, and construction union, and just him talking about it. The film industry caught my attention, and I walked up after he had us all in the day room. After that, I walked up. I'm like, hey, like, what's up with the film industry? What's that about? And how can I do it? Like, I'm not from LA. I don't live out there right now. When I do parole out, I'm not gonna be there. And he's like, look, first day out, call me. Gave me his numbers. My first day out, I called him. He's like, school starts this time. I had to wait for the next year to come around. I'm gonna get you in Magnolia housing. Bam. And that's how that went from there. I worked for like 6 months in Tulare where I paroled, and moved to LA, Magnolia housing. And without that Scott and that housing and that opportunity, I would never even been able to move to LA and pursue this film. So it was that they got me there.
You took a big leap of faith.
Definitely. Yeah.
'Cause I'm sure that you were like, is it real? Is it gonna work out?
You never know. Sometimes you gotta take that leap in life and take that risk. And if you don't take risk, it ain't gonna.
Do you guys still remember your first PA job?
Yeah.
What was it on?
let's make a deal. Like, well, technically it was student films, but my first job was let's make a deal. Like PA job was let's make a deal.
Like, yeah, call sheet or just paid?
Just being on set.
Just
Yeah,
Yeah.
call sheet. I got a call sheet, and I don't remember what city he was in. It was in Los Angeles. I had to Uber there with my tool bag, and it was pouring rain, and it was American Film
AFI,
Institute
yeah.
film, and they were doing their thesis, and I had to set up tents in the rain to cover up all the generators that were powering all the set lighting and all the stuff. So by the time I got back inside, I was dripping wet, and I remember that moment for the rest of my life of being like, damn. But during that moment, the set decorator, she noticed that, and she was like, I'm bringing this kid on every single short film I work on.
Yeah.
She helped me get all my hours on all the American Film Institute.
Who was that?
Her name was Sandra, and she was just this sweet lady that was just like, hey, are you available to work? And I was like, hell yeah, I am. So I mean, I didn't really have to, go and do the same things. I still did in the end, but it made it much easier for me to get my hours in the long run, for me to have somebody inside the American Film Institute with the connects, like, hey, my friend's working on this film, my friend's doing this thesis, we need your help. And
it's that network connection, Like, go ahead.
Yeah, my first job, I got it, I got referred by a good friend of mine, Sergio Palatetto, shout out to him. That's really where I got my foot in the door into like the world of, television. And I worked on the premiere movie of Bob's Burgers. And that was the first one. And I even seen, I forget her name, but the main star, I seen her. When I seen her, I was like, oh wow. She even said hi to me. I was like standing, what is it called? Firewatch? I was fire watching, and she passed by and she was gonna go to the door, and she like said hi and everything. I was just like, in my head, I was just freaking out. I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God,
What is Firewatch?
So Firewatch, you're when they're on set, like say that they're rolling, your job is to stop anyone from coming in, because you can't let light in, you can't sound, everything's running, so you gotta like prevent that. So all you do is just stand in the door, guard door, and just make sure no one comes in. And that was my first job, and it was just so real. It was just not like I was just like awestruck the whole time. Yeah. I was just walking around everyone. I was just I couldn't believe I was there.
I remember my first PA job. It was a Pringles commercial for Super Bowl. And I got the job because at the time I was doing this program called Manifest Works. And I'm sure you guys heard of Manifest Works. And they teach you about, a production etiquette, how the flow is. And, they pretty much train you on how to be a production assistant. And they got me my first gig. And I remember showing up, like an hour early, because this was my first job as a production assistant on set in general. And I just wanted to be, ready and on point. I was nervous. And you get there and you look around, you see all these lights, these cameras, and this dope set. And you're like, wow, like this is Hollywood,
This is the real deal.
This is the real deal. I've made it on set. This is step one for me. It was huge. And I will never forget that day. It was a amazing experience, and it set the tone for my career.
Do you guys remember what you guys were doing, or when you found out that you finally made it in the union, becoming an ILT Local 44 member, and what that feeling was like?
Well, I remember like me getting ready to go get initiated. Like I had put my whole portfolio together. You know how hard that process is. Put that together, turned it in, was talking to everyone at Hollywood CPR like about what the process is and everything. And then I get my day.
How much is union dues? I just want to throw that out there, just to be able to be a union member.
It's almost $8,000. Now, I don't remember the exact, but to get in, it's roughly almost $8,000, And
paid so 2 months.
No, I'm still paying it, but it pays for itself, But so I get my day to go get initiated, and I'm just excited. I'm like, I can't believe like I moved out here to LA to do that, and it took like 2.5 years, and to feel that like accomplishment in myself, it felt great. And I get initiated, and it was just like a great feeling. Took pictures, got a shirt, and it was official. It was just like, wow, like I couldn't believe it. Like I did it. Like a lot of stuff, growing up, you start something, you don't always finish it. And this is something that I told myself I need to come out here and I need to do. And I took that leap of faith and I did it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It felt great. Yeah, it felt great.
That's awesome.
What about you guys?
I got in a different way. I remember at the time I was working at the Marvel Prop House, and it was a production assistant job. And I used to see all the set dressers come in because they'll drop off props, pick up, and I was pretty much doing the work they were doing, and I enjoyed it, you know, because you work with some dope stuff, you know, like with Thor's hammer, you know, like
Crazy.
like man, this is dope. So I used to talk to them, and they started explaining how I could get in the union, and I met this producer on the show. His name is Mike Drake. Shout out to Mike Drake, because he's the one that hooked me up with Jersey. Jersey is our boss on Let's Make a Deal, and he put all of us on. He changed our lives tremendously, and he has given us the opportunity to work on The Price is Right, Let's Make a Deal.
Give us this platform to speak on right here. Man, Jersey, we can't even say it enough.
If it's not for him, we wouldn't be.
Yeah.
If that's possible.
So
There it is.
So shout out to Jersey. Mike Drake connected me with Mike Drake connected me with Jersey. I reached out to Mike Drake, and I was like, hey Mike, I think I know what I want to do with my life, not with my career. I think I know where I want to take it. He's all like, what is it that you want to do? And I was like, I want to set dress. I want to become a set dresser. And I just don't know where to go from here. You know, I don't know how to get in the union. Do I need to go back to school? And he's all like, I have a friend. His name's Jersey. Let me reach out to him, and I'll get back to you. And he got back to me. He gave me his number. He's like, hey, reach out to Jersey. I reached out to Jersey, and I told him, you know, I give him a brief history on me, and you know what I've done, what I've accomplished, and where I was at the time. And he's all like, cool, man. He's all like, look, my show doesn't start back up for like another 4 months, but come on down to the shop. You know, I'll introduce you to the boys, to the team, and you get to see like what we do. And I was like, sure. I went on a Saturday. He met up with me there, and then he's all like, look, if you haven't gotten the union by the time my show starts back up, I'll bring you on. And man, and I stayed at the Marvel Prop House, because it's not easy to get in. You guys know it's not easy to get
It's not easy at all.
in a film union. And so I wasn't able to get in. And then he hits me up like, what's up, you ready? I was like, man, I've been waiting for your call for a long time. He's all like, cool, I'm gonna get you your days on supermarket sweep. And I got my days, my 30 days. If you don't know what that means, they pull a permit, and you know, it's
That's the traditional way to get in the union without Hollywood CPR. 30 days working on a union show.
or if a show flips.
Yeah, exactly.
Non-union show that flips into a union show, then you
It sounds easy. This sounds easy, but I've heard multiple people say that they've tried to get 30 days, but you have to get those 30 days in one consecutive year.
Yeah.
And they have to be 30 days in that 1 year. And if not,
Start over.
It starts over. And imagine trying to get on film sets when there's so many union workers already in front of you that are getting the job. So, I mean, I just want to say that that's not easy. I used to think 30 days, that's nothing. I'll get that. That's 1 month.
And while you're getting, it's stressful while you're getting those days, because you're like, man, I hope I don't get sick. I hope nothing happens. You know, I don't want anything to interfere with me getting these days. And I got on The Price is Right, got my 30 days, and I remember, submitting my paperwork to get into Local 44, and then I finally was able to get a date to get initiated, and I was so happy. Once it became real.
Yeah.
I was like, man, thank you, God. Thank you, Jersey. Like, it's life-changing. Yeah,
Definitely.
like,
Most does.
Life-changing like it.
because once you get in a union, you got good benefits, you got good medical, and the rate, is
It's negotiated rate.
You go from minimum wage to above $40 to $50 an hour.
Yeah.
So, I mean, imagine $40 to $50 an hour.
Coming from nothing.
Coming from nothing, 10-hour guarantees. You get craft services. They feed you throughout the day. They make sure you get a meal, catering. It's his own union. It's like they take care of you to the fullest extent, and you feel appreciated for what you do. So it's like getting in the union is like the pinnacle of having a career, and you see you all around you. You look on a film set and you see role models for what your life is going to look like in the future. Oh, I've traveled the world. I've done this.
I own these properties. I got this. Yeah.
And they tell you if you use your money right and you do this right, you're pretty much good, and you need to be able to. But that's the thing a lot of people need to worry about is when you get this type of job, how are you going to manage making this type of money? Even though it might not, like, you know, you might not feel that way now because you're young, but
you have to manage, because times like this, when work is slow, like when COVID came out, the strike, like times like that, you have to manage your money so that when those times do come, and it is a little slow, you're prepared for it, you know?
And then especially when you come from poverty, or you come from somewhere where you just start making all this money, you want things that you never had as a child. You want to consume these things.
You want to splurge.
You want to splurge. You want to do all these things and it's understandable. Everybody should live and everybody should explore, but it's also, you got to look out for your future.
Yeah.
When it comes to getting in these types of positions and jobs.
And the older, like the you know, the OGs, like they tell you like you want to like splurge and stuff like that, but they're the ones that tell you, they give you advice like
Save
you should create a Roth or invest in
Kevin.
you know,
Kevin
future, like,
Kevin
so
constantly preaches buy property and invest.
He's like, by the time you done 10 years in the union, you're gonna be a super millionaire. That's his thing. Like,
and we say this because
true,
you can get on a commercial, you can get on a movie, and it can last for 6 months, and I don't know, you can make what, 50,000. You can make
your wage more. Yeah.
And the thing is, if that ends and you're not in the right position, it's just like nothing. It's just like it's a wild job. So it's just like you're just riding a roller coaster that you need to be honest.
I remember getting my first union check. I looked at it and I was like, what?
No way.
How much was it? How much was it?
It was almost triple of what I was making as a
PA. Yeah.
And shout out to my PA nation, man, because you know, once a PA, always a PA.
Yeah. And I'll still PA.
Yeah,
for sure. And I look at my PAs just as like a union brother, because I know that they're on the same grind as me to get to where I
still PA.
Exactly. And just as like they're on the grind, we respect it, because I used to go and I used to be that production assistant, going to the set decorators, set decorators and saying, hey, I'm going to be one of you guys one day. I look forward to working with you guys someday. And it was all welcoming. I never ever felt like I was pushed to the side, you know, as a production assistant. They appreciate you.
Yeah. And people are always like in the you like working as a production assistant. I've had so many like people that just like inspire me, you know, that always tell me like all the hard work that you're doing is noticed and it's going to pay off. Right. As of last year, I was supposed to initiate and get in the union, right? But I had an injury that paused my initiation. But hopefully in the next year or so, when I start recovering, hopefully I'm able to get back in there and start working with you guys, because being injured and being gone for like six months now, it kind of, you know, it sucks in a way because I don't get to be around you guys constantly. And that brotherhood, like I constantly, when I was working, like I was always looking forward to that, you know, with you guys, you know, with Jimmy, all these relationships I built on the show with all these individuals, is like we all became brother. Like it's weird. Like they didn't look at me just as a PA or he's 44. Like it was all included, and it's a family environment that when I wake up in the morning, it's like I want to go to work. You know, I want to go chop it up with Jimmy. I want to go chop it up with David. You know, I was always looking for that. You know, but like working with all you guys and having this like family foundation, you know, it gives me like more of a purpose to go work with you guys.
Yeah, and you guys all started off as PAs on the show, right?
Yeah.
On Let's Drive the Truck, on Price is Right, and you've earned your position as a union member. It wasn't just like
wasn't handed to you. That's for sure.
And that's the beauty of it, is when you work hard for something and it's finally rewarded. Or it's like, I don't even know if I like the word. I don't use the word deserved. It's like you earned it, you know? It's kind of like you worked hard and, you know,
it feels that much better when you do get it. Like nothing great comes easy. If everything was easy, everybody would have everything. So to accomplish things, it's great.
So yeah, and if you don't know by now, we all work together on Let's Make a Deal and The Price is Right, and we have other colleagues and friends that also are now on the show, and like this could have gone two ways. We could have either closed the door for the people's coming after us,
One day for everyone.
or opened it like we did.
Yeah.
And man, it makes me very happy that we have this dope crew, like you said, this brotherhood, and because work doesn't feel like work. When you show up, you're like, you see the homies, like, damn, what's up?
You with the boys?
Yeah.
You good morning. It's funny. We're laughing. We're having good times, and it's just like we're able to talk. And when you I always think about that now, is that I'm not afraid to say that I know that I'm in the good times right now. A lot of people say, damn, that time with that, I knew that was a good time, and I remember that. I'm appreciative of it now.
It's a great feature.
Yeah, it's a great time we're in, and just being able to go to work in the morning and not feel like, damn, while I'm showering and dreading it. I'm actually looking forward to seeing all my brothers and being able to work hard, because it's another day in Hollywood, and I never thought I'd be
you
able to
all
say
work
that.
together too. That's the cool thing about it. Like when things needs to get done, we all come together and get it done.
Cool.
And we make the best out of it.
And
We have fun with it.
It's a good chemistry. Yeah, you get there, you get your coffee, and you're like, what's up? What's the plan for today? Oh, let's load up the truck. You get in the truck, you take it to stage,
So-
unload it, start dressing,
Let me-
and all while you're just with your friends. You're chopping it up, you're having a good time, and it makes time go by so fast.
I'm going to elaborate a little bit on what we do as set decorators. So a set dresser is, when he says he worked at Marvel Prop House does all the furniture, all the paintings, and all the stuff that you'll see in a Marvel movie. As in paintings and as set decorators, we're basically, as an industry joke would be, we're like glorified furniture movers. We pick up furniture and we move it to where the director, where the camera likes to see it. And continuity matters. You got to know where that couch was for the previous scene.
Not damaging.
Not damaging the furniture that the actor is going to sit on, like a couch, like we're sitting on.
It's a rental. It's a rental. I think.
It's a rental from Warner Brothers Universal. And we're the people that ride on the trucks. We go and load up the trucks with the artwork, with whatever the movie is going to shoot with.
Props.
Yeah, props. We bring it to the film set. We unload it. Set decorate whatever we're gonna do.
Rough in the set.
Set
it up.
Wait for the actors and all that stuff. We have an on-set dresser that waits and watches everything that's going on while it's on camera, and the director will tell him to move certain things. And then at the end of it,
Strike it all, break it down, and take it back.
strike it all, break it down, and go back to Warner Brothers Universal and send it all back. And then and then they call it a day. That was 12 hours. And some people don't understand that all this stuff goes into 1 hour of production, or
Yeah.
1 day of production. As a set decorator, it's like there's so many different jobs.
Yeah.
If you go to Warner Brothers, you go to Universal, there's drapery department, there's
You need all these creator minds.
creator minds that come together to put this one film set together, because you don't think who makes the couch, who does this, and who brings in this furniture, who does these things. But that's just a little background. When we say when we're set decorating, we're in these trucks, we're doing these things. We're making sure that the furniture and everything that you see on set gets there. Anything that the actor touches gets there safely, and we make sure it's, looking good, natural.
I met some of the dopest people through work. As a set dresser, you get to work with smart, creative people, and it's just a dope environment.
Tons of crafty people that know knots, people,
with your hands.
carpenters, definitely don't got soft hands.
You
And
can learn a lot. You can learn a lot.
Use power tools.
You can learn a lot to do on your own stuff. Like when you own your own house or own your own stuff. A lot of the stuff we do is simple repairs that you could do on your own house when you need it, or create something at your house,
Yeah, it's creative, very creative.
Yeah.
yeah,
The style of my house is because of my experience and work. I'm able to like, oh, I like this plan here. I like this plan here. I'm gonna put this frame up here.
The lining's not in here.
Yeah. It changes your vision, and it's dope. I love working in this industry. I hope work picks up here in Los Angeles. For
Definitely.
all my union brothers, everyone in the film production. And
Set up
sisters.
strikes.
you just don't realize how many jobs are in each of these unions. You go around on the set and you realize each little job is a union in itself. To prop making,
Everything.
drapery, being a form. I don't know.
So many components to like make something come alive.
Make something come.
It's magical. It really is like really magical.
Yeah.
And I love being around that. Like I always seek knowledge.
We're all set dressers here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to have a.
Yeah.
We need to have a.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
other unions in this industry. Grips, camera, lighting, more like there's a lot that goes to it.
And I chose set dresser too because I wanted to be able to create. Because as a set dresser, you get to create. You know, you're creating the scene. You know, and creating props or whatever it might be. You know, and that's what fascinated because I love working with my hands.
That's what fascinated me too on my first PA job. The decorator was like, "Hey, that dresser looks empty right there. We need a book." And when I was using the restroom, I seen a book on the toilet sitting right there, and I was like, "I know exactly where a book is." And I went in, and it was the only book in the house, and I went and grabbed it because it was an empty, vacant house. And I put it in the shot, and she was like, "I like that. I like what your eyes. You know, you see things that other people don't see." And from that moment on, I was like, she was like, "Some people have an eye for this, and some people don't." And it's something as little as you don't think that putting a book right there on the little shelf fills in a shot for a film. And set dressing really does. It can be from a coffee mug to a pen to something little small, and everything gets noticed because it looks so natural that you don't notice that that's a job. You're like, "Oh, that's just, that house looks like a house from the 60s. And you're like, "What the hell?" Somebody dressed that in and made that with fake dust, fake mirrors, fake everything, and it looks nice, you know? So, I mean, it's appreciated when you actually watch a movie now and you see the work that gets put into all these films. You're like, wow, that's crazy.
It's truly all make believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I first started on Let's Make a Deal, the whole time it just like I felt like I was walking on a cloud because I remember telling Jersey, like, I remember watching this as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, even in being locked up, daytime, you know,
That's
TV
what came
shows
on
and
every
stuff.
day.
Every day. The Price is Right, Let's Make a Deal.
Every day.
You know, and just to be in there and see the zonks and everything was just like, wow. Like I feel like I made it. I was like, in my head, I was like, I made it to Hollywood.
Yeah. And
You did.
Yeah, I did.
You did, and that's what I say all the time. Is another day in Hollywood, boy. It's like it's wild because you know you see people that have wrote on. I signed my name on the Price is Right wheel. Fremantle, please don't fire me for that. But
It's on the back.
you know, it's on the back. But I mean,
it is a trip because, like you said, I've watched both those shows. So to give a quick backstory, I did 13 years. I was locked up at a very young age. At the age of 14, I made some bad decisions, and it led to my incarceration. I got 13 years, but while I was in there in my cell, I used to watch The Price is Right. I used to watch Let's Make a Deal from a cell probably the size of your restroom.
Yeah.
And like, if you would have told me then, like, hey, one day you're gonna get out and you're gonna work on these shows, I would have been like, get out of my face. Like, I wouldn't. But the reality is that we're working on them now, and it's like a dream come true. Truly.
Yeah.
Wow. Like you can't connect the dots going forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards, and you see, like, man, how everything just happened for
how it all fell in place.
Destined for it. And it's a blessing now to be on. To me, every day I'm there is a blessing because it's like my first time every time. I'm amazed on seeing the wheel, seeing, you know, the light, seeing Let's Make a Deal, Price is Right. It's still amazing to me.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing that amazes me, and that's why I was seeing the wheel, because I've seen people from the 80s from the union signing that wheel, people with their names on it, people saying, "Hey, this is my last day. I worked on this show for 20 years, and it's 1996. I just had 2 children," and they write their whole, and you're literally seeing history in front of itself. And just like I said, back in the day, me and my grandmother, she used to make me breakfast. I used to wake up in the morning. I used to wake up really scared because she used to not be there in the bed with me right next to me. So I used to be like, "Where is she?" Walk out to the kitchen and she'd be making pancakes. And I would, you know, Bob Barker, spin the wheel, having fun with it. She would sip her coffee. And then 20 years later, I'm 23 years old and I'm sitting right there, bringing out the carpet that does the wheel, you know?
Yeah.
Being back there behind the curtain. It's just like every single day I get this feeling of like, I know my grandmother's proud of me. Or I know that you know, being in such a good, positive community is just like, it's a rewarding feeling, bro. You have no idea this feeling of being in this brotherhood and being able to appreciate what you do, and you know.
Yeah, man. I'm grateful every day for the opportunities I've been given, for the brotherhood we created, and just being able to work on these shows and being able to be working during this time in the union, especially. And I'm just grateful for everything we've been able to have, you know.
Another big shout out to Jersey, Ray Garcia, some of the brotherhood. they were kind of like what we were doing now. They had the Brotherhood back in the day. They were all union members, and they all came, did college stuff, and moved to Los Angeles to pursue film, and all made it in.
And they're
union
still
members,
working
and they're still
together.
working in the
Yeah.
film, running the shows. Let's Make a Deal, Price is Right, and they hired us. And we're our own Brotherhood. And Ray was telling us the other day is, I love seeing you guys, and like you guys remind of what we were like when we were younger. You know, being on these film sets, being younger, running around, having fun, and it's just like it's rewarding to know that we're on the trajectory of positivity. You know that we're
on the right path.
yeah, we're on the right path.
And I want to just shout out all the people that like believed
Believed in us, hired us.
You know, sometimes we go in life and we self-doubt. You know, self-doubt could be our biggest enemy, and for me it was. And if it wasn't for Scott, you know, Jersey, man, I probably wouldn't have come this far and be right here with you guys. So a big shout out to them, and you know, I just love you guys. You guys inspired me, and I want to continue to carry on the mantle and keep inspiring and help people in any way possible.
Shout out to Let's Make a Deal and The Price is Right for allowing us to work in this environment.
Right.
Man.
And it's a blessing to be there for sure.
Blessing to
Change many lives.
change many lives just to be able to do that. And man,
And that's our way out.
Whoa.